Hi, I'm Dr. Nathan Carr, and I would like to welcome you to the Department of Modern Languages and Literatures here at Cal State Fullerton. So, without any further ado, let's get started. First, a little overview of the presentation. First, there's the welcome, which we just had, and then I'm going to talk to you about why you can't find the department office right now, probably. Then I will talk about MLL programs, and I will talk to you then about advising. I'll give you some hopefully useful information. Then I'm going to ask you what exactly you think you're doing here, and then I'll give you some advice on succeeding at CSUF. So now I've gone ahead and turned off the camera because I don't think I'm that pretty and you don't need to see me that much, and my face would be covering up part of the screen too, and we don't want that. Where is everything? You may be wondering. If you're watching this presentation during the summer of 2026, not during some future semester when I haven't gotten around to recording a new version, the Modern Languages and Literatures Department office is temporarily relocated to Humanities 325. Now, normally this is our department computer lab, and the office is upstairs in Humanities 835A. Now, why are we relocating for the summer? Well, because they're doing asbestos abatement on the 8th floor. There's glue underneath the floor tiles and under the carpet that has asbestos in it. And this is supposed to end around August 1st, after which there will be a week, just 1 week, maybe, we hope, of chaos while everything moves back up and gets unpacked. There's also asbestos abatement going on in the 7th floor, and that's the glue under the floor tiles just in the hallways. The offices got done in 2025. And this is supposed to end around mid-June or late June in theory. And then many faculty will have access to their offices again for the rest of the summer. But right now you cannot go up on the 7th floor or the 8th floor unless you're wearing a moon suit. But by the start of the fall semester, we should be back in our usual locations, but there might be a few boxes lying around here and there. All right, and next I'll talk about programs in the MLL department. I'll talk about our undergraduate majors, which you probably already know about. Then I'll talk about our undergraduate minors and certificates, and then I'll mention our graduate programs. So we have the French BA, the Japanese BA, and the Spanish BA, as you probably realize. The study of language, culture, linguistics, and literature enables us to gain insights into other cultures, as well as to gain the perspective necessary to examine our own cultural values critically. And this in turn helps us to understand ourselves, each other, and our roles in a multicultural world. So students, once you graduate, will be able to gain proficiency in other languages in a competitive globalized world, analyze and think critically about the world we live in today. You will understand socio-historical processes to understand other cultures and our own, and you'll be able to work in education, government, social services, tourism, translation services, literature, and international business, among other professions. We also have several minors in the department. We have French, Japanese, and Spanish, just like the majors, but obviously with fewer classes. We have the Chinese minor. We have the new China Studies minor, which is at a little lower level of language proficiency. And we also have a Vietnamese minor, and then there's a new minor in Global Humanities. We also have several undergraduate certificate programs. We have the Spanish for Hispanic Media Certificate. We have the Translation Spanish to English, English to Spanish Certificate. We have Spanish for the Health Professions. Then we also have, they're not really certificates, but we have the Subject Matter Preparation Programs for French, Spanish, and Japanese World Language Secondary Credential Programs. Those are the credential programs are offered by the Department of Secondary Education. You take that for 1 year after you finish your bachelor's degree. The thing is, in the last few years, the state legislature decided also that a BA in one of these languages would count instead of the SMPP. So either one would get you into, would qualify, would meet the subject matter requirement anyway for the credential program. Then we have the undergraduate TESOL certificate program. TESOL is Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. It's the language, not literature, poetry, etc. Then there's the subject matter preparation program for the world language ELD secondary credential. ELD is just ESL in California public schools, but if they called it ESL, that would be too easy to clear and it wouldn't be confusing enough. And that's how the State Department of Education runs, by the way, if you haven't figured that out yet. Then we also have a Global Humanities Certificate, and that's at a slightly lower level of difficulty or course levels than the Global Humanities Minor. Now, we also teach several other languages, but not at the advanced levels. We have Arabic 101 and 102, German 101 and 102, Italian 101 and 102, Korean, we have Korean 101, 102, 203, 204, and now we also have the K-pop class, Korean 380, which is taught in English. Then we have Persian 101 and 102, and Portuguese 105, which is supposed to cover an entire year of Portuguese in one semester, and Portuguese 214. If you find yourself interested in taking one of these languages, I would strongly encourage you to take the 101 and then do the 102 also if you can. You can do so much more with the 102, and we can't offer the 102s often enough because a lot of students are just doing it for GE and then they disappear and don't get that second semester and can't really do much with the language. But I guess it's better than nothing. But you won't be taking that for GE, so please, if you do take a 101, try the 102 as well. Now we also offer two master's degrees. We have the MA in Spanish, and then we have the MS in TESOL. Now there's also a graduate TESOL certificate. Officially it's called a post-baccalaureate certificate in TESOL. But don't do that unless you're taking it with an MA, the MA in Spanish, and you could do the graduate TESOL certificate, or an MA in linguistics, or an MA in English if you wanted to focus on, say, composition and rhetoric. But by itself it's not a good idea because it's almost the same coursework as the master's degree. So what if the certificate is that it would allow you to teach ESL at the community college level, at the credit level, in fact. So it's good for that, especially with a master's. And anyone who gets the master's in TESOL from us automatically gets the graduate certificate too. There are also a number of student clubs that either belong to our department or are at least allied with it. So first there's the Asociación de Alumnos y Exalumnos de Español, that's the Student Spanish Club. There's the Latin American Studies Student Association, the Spanish Theater Group, the Association of Chinese Students, I think. No, it is the Association of Chinese Studies. There's the French Club, the Iranian Student Association, the Japanese Culture Club, the Anime Club, the TESOL Club, and then the TESOL Research Group. Now, there are two different types of advising that I want to talk to you about today. And this is where things get really important for you and affect your life and your graduation. First, there's major advising. That's done by the MLL professors. If you're a Spanish major, you will have a Spanish professor who advises you. If you're a French major, you have a French professor. And surprise of all surprises, if you are a Japanese major, you will have a Japanese professor advising you too. These people will be advising you which classes to take in the major. However, there's also GE advising. This is mostly done by HSS College Student Success. HSS is the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. That's the college to which our department belongs. Now, if you go to this URL, the Academic Advising main site, that will give you some information, and these next two slides also. So first, major advising for MLL majors. each student has a major advisor. Usually they're assigned based on your last name. And if you go to mll.fullerton.edu/advising, you will see the list of advisors. It's organized by language. You can also find this information on the faculty directory page, but it's easier to find your advisor on the actual advising page. If your advisor is not available for whatever reason, whether it's for a day or two or a week or two, whatever, contact the program coordinator. The program coordinator is always the advisor of last resort. And if you can't get through to them, maybe it's over Christmas break or it's during the summer or whatever, and you need to talk to someone urgently, contact the department chair. And that's going to be me for the next year or two at least. And I'll have all this contact information on a slide in just a few minutes. Now, for GE advising, there are two places for you to go. Number one, and this is the main place, is the HSS Student Success Center. It's located in Humanities 112. That's the west side of the building. You have to enter it from outside. You can't enter it from inside. I don't know why they have it set up that way, but they do. So that's the area where the steps are. It faces the quad. If you're standing out there, you can see the library. That should help you find it. This is your main source for GE advising. Now we have an MLL tandem advisor. And tandem advisor, that term confuses students. Honestly, it confuses faculty and department chairs too. In tandem with what? Just they're doing the GE advising in tandem with faculty who do the major advising. At least that's what I think it means. But his name is Kenny Considine, and here's his email address, and he is your main go-to for GE advising. And there's the Student Success Center Advising webpage. Now, there's also the Undeclared and Academic Advising Center. That's located in PLN 1. And what is PLN 1? That's Pollock Library North, first floor. Now, North and South Wing don't matter too much on the first floor. It doesn't matter that much on the second floor. But up somewhere above 2, the floors quit connecting, and PLN and PLS starts to matter. So please pay attention to that when you're trying to find something. Now, the Undeclared and Academic Advising Center, remember that's the first floor. They're north of Starbucks. They do backup GE advising for HSS students. That's you. They also provide comprehensive guidance. I don't know what that is. No one seems to be able to tell me when I ask, but it really sounds very comprehensive, and I'm sure it's really good. And there's the URL for that center. Now, here is the program contact information. The department office, the email address for the office is modlanglit@fullerton.edu, and that's monitored by all the staff. If you don't know where to send something, send it there and they'll forward it. The department phone number is 657-278-3534. Then Dr. Nathan Carr, that's me. I'm the department chair. There's my email. Dr. Watanabe will be the department vice chair for 2026-27. Dr. Kakihara is the Japanese coordinator. Dr. Domon is the French coordinator for the summer. But at the beginning of the fall semester in August, that will transition to Dr. Daubigny. Dr. Kuffner is the Spanish coordinator. Dr. Ruckert is the TESOL coordinator, and Dr. Liu is the Chinese coordinator. And Dr. Nguyen coordinates the Vietnamese program. We have a Facebook page. If you know what Facebook is, I'm not sure anyone under 30 does anymore, but we're at CSUF, Department of Modern Languages and Literatures, and then Instagram, that's MLL@CSUF, with AT. Now, there's some useful things for you to know that I think might help you in your life here in Fullerton on campus. The first thing you need to know is that old people still use websites and emails. By old, I mean 30 or more. And the campus is run by old people. We even still use Facebook sometimes. You must adapt to this strange new culture that you're finding yourself in. And So, the faculty and staff and administrators are expecting to communicate with you by putting things on websites and by writing you emails. So you need to check campus web pages to find things out. Read the web pages. Now, email is how things get done. You need to read emails from instructors and from campus offices. School emails will go to your csu.fullerton.edu address. You must check that address regularly, and you need to reply to emails. Besides just good manners and good etiquette, it's important in getting along successfully and getting through the university. You will need to write emails to instructors, to staff members, to administrators occasionally. I recommend that you check to make sure your emails are clearly written and that they look like they were written by someone who is a student at a university. Now, the MLL department webpage is mll.fullerton.edu. We have gone to a lot of effort to try to make that website clear, and it's regularly undergoing changes and additions and things like that to try to make it better. So please use it. Now, some more useful things to know. You can find your major advisor at mll.fullerton.edu/advising. If you need advising, if you need an enrollment permit, or if you have a question, it's a good idea to put your name and your CWID, campus-wide ID number, in all emails. Another piece of advice: enroll as early as you can once your enrollment window opens for a given semester. Seriously, if your enrollment window starts at midnight, it is not crazy to be online at 11:55 with classes in your shopping cart ready to go. That is goal-oriented behavior. That is a sound survival tactic. That's not being crazy. Another piece of advice: don't self-advise. Do check your TDA. Do look at the university catalog, but then talk to an advisor. Don't trust your friends. They mean well, I'm sure, but they don't know what they don't know. They don't know anything about course rotations, for instance. You're the one that wants to graduate on time, so talk to an advisor. Talk early, talk often. Don't be one of those students that comes along every year or two and has to postpone graduation by a semester because they didn't take something when they needed to. Another thing, if you need an enrollment permit for a class, ask the instructor. Especially if a class is full, ask the instructor. If an instructor hasn't been assigned, then ask the program coordinator for that language. A really valuable resource is the university catalog. There's a lot of information in that thing. That's at catalog.fullerton.edu. I check that several times a week to look up something. What is the policy on that? What's the name of that major? Okay, what is that random course? Does the course description say this or does it say that? So I'm clicking on it all the time, and I've been at this campus over 20 years. There may be some information you don't have that's in that catalog as well. Another good website to look at is the Office of the Registrar. And as you can maybe guess from the name, they handle registration. That's registrar.fullerton.edu. So the registration information is there, and that includes the registration guides and registration calendars. The registration guide is a thing that gets published every semester. I don't think they do it in hard copy anymore. It used to be 30, 50 pages long, like sort of a little magazine. It has a lot of other policies, some of which are not in the university catalog. It has a lot of important deadlines there also. And the calendars also have deadlines for things. The registrar's website also has forms, including not just forms but also petitions. And a petition is basically something you're trying to get permission for that's on its own special form. They get grouped together, or separately rather. The petitions are usually for higher level stuff, less routine things that you want approved. Then they also handle your records, your transcripts, your diplomas after you graduate, and your student biographical information. Then they're also over graduation, transfers, articulation with other universities, and they also handle the Titan Degree Audit, or a TDA, and the Degree Planner. They do a lot of stuff, so look at their webpage. Now, some more useful things to know. There's an academic resources page that has resources that may be helpful to you. Then the university library, they have a page as well. That's a good place to look for books and articles. There's also the Titan Hub, which used to be called the Titan One-Stop Shop. That page has a lot of useful stuff. It has links to financial aid and just a lot of different things that you may find useful. Another thing, you're going to have problems. Welcome to life. It's just how it is. Sorry. So get help before things reach the crisis stage. If you're having trouble coping with things, it might get worse, so go get help first. A stitch in time saves 9. Help with what? Well, it could be you need tutoring help. It could be you're having emotional problems, mental health issues, trouble just handling life, or life and school and everything. So if you're having that kind of trouble, check out Counseling and Psychological Services, or CAPS. Their website is fullerton.edu/CAPS. They are in Titan Hall on the first floor. Titan Hall is across State College from the main campus, so it's a good walk from our building, but it's not that far away. They have a crisis line. That crisis line is open 24/7. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to, I feel awkward doing this. Yeah, there's a reason that crisis line is there 24/7. They've got that many people that need help. They're not doing it because they've got nothing else to spend money on. So take advantage of it. If you need help, get help. If you don't need help, fine, that's good. But if you do, don't be shy about it. There are other resources available at compass.fullerton.edu and at u.fullerton.edu. If you need help, take the steps to start getting it before it's a crisis. The university is spending a lot of money on this because they want to help you if you need help. And they want you to get the help. And that's so. If you need it, go. If you have a friend who needs help, encourage them to go. Now, another thing that most people won't warn you about is parking. Read these signs. Don't pay $80 for parking in the wrong place. The parking office is all nice and lovely until they decide to write you a ticket. At that point, they don't care. They want the $80. It is a revenue producing arm for the university, and whatever your reason is for being parked in that wrong place, they don't care. They don't like you. They're not your friends. Don't take it personally. They don't like me either. They don't care about my excuses either. Take it from me. I have a story or two. I know other faculty with stories too. I've been in a university committee meeting where 10 minutes of the discussion was people griping about parking and exchanging tips for getting out of tickets, which may or may not work. So don't make a mistake. If they don't care about the professors, they don't care about department chairs, they don't care about administrators, they don't care about you either. Don't, unless you just want to, pay $80 to park wherever you want to park one day. Read the signs, follow the rules. Now, a few more random bits of advice for you. Go to office hours. Professors are there during office hours to help you. Go. That's what it's for. Office hour schedules are on the class syllabus. They have to be posted on there. That's a university requirement. They are posted on the MLL department website in the faculty directory. And they're also posted on the bulletin board across from Humanities 835C. Where's 835C? It's right next to 835A. It's the door beside it that's not the balcony. Or if you find the men's room, go right around the corner from the men's room on the 8th floor. There's only one. So if you can't make it to office hours, email the instructor, explain the situation, and maybe they can handle your issue by email, or maybe they can meet you at another time. Could be in person, could be Zoom. Another point, being persistent and being organized will do more to help you graduate than being smart will. Being smart is good, it is helpful, but you've got to refuse to quit. Since I was an undergrad, I've known people who were plenty smart and who did not finish college. You have to refuse to quit no matter what. You got to plan your studying, plan your homework, plan your projects, do the reading, figure out when I'm going to do the reading, when I'm going to do this project, when am I going to work on homework, when am I going to study. Your job is to take classes and study and do homework and work on projects and do the reading. And so you've got to do it. And if you're organized about it, and if you're persistent and you just don't stop, you get knocked down and you get back up, that is what will get you through. Now, speaking of getting through, what are you doing here? And seriously, I'm asking, why are you going to college? I'm not trying to get you to quit. I'm just trying to get you to think about what you're trying to do here. Are you going to college to get a magic piece of paper? Or are you going to college to get an education? The piece of paper by itself is useful, but it's only so useful. What's really useful is the learning, the ability to think, the ability to communicate. And that piece of paper is supposed to represent those abilities. And that is what you're paying for and spending so much time on. And if you're going to rely on AI for most of your work, how much are you going to learn? How do you don't build muscles by having a robot lift weights for you. You don't learn to think and communicate better by having a computer think and communicate for you. I mean, what do you bring to the table that's going to make somebody give you a job instead of just using the AI themselves? You build skills by practicing them, and this includes learning to analyze, learning to solve problems, learning to write better, learning a language. You can maybe use AI as a tool sometimes. The professor is supposed to have in the syllabus what their policy is for that class, but it just varies by the class. Now, the act of thinking and writing in a language helps develop your proficiency in that language. And academic language use promotes academic language development. That's just the way human brains work. And if you want to develop your professional and academic proficiency in a language, then you've got to do it yourself. You can't depend on an AI to write it for you. Now, a little more advice on succeeding at Cal State Fullerton. First, do you even belong here? Yes. The answer is yes. You do belong here. If you wondered, okay, you can quit wondering. Trained professionals have decided that you have what it takes. Trust them. They know what they were doing letting you in. Now, quit worrying about it and get back to work. Remember what I said about not quitting, being persistent, being organized? Go do that. Don't worry about whether you belong there or not, because you do. Now, can you learn? Can you improve? Can you grow? Can you become better at things that you can't do now or that you can't do as well yet? Yes. But you have to want to learn, though, because it's kind of hard to learn if you don't want to learn. You need to have a growth mindset and recognize that, yeah, you can actually do this stuff, or you can't do it yet, but you can learn to do it. Or you can't do it very well, maybe, yet. The emphasis on yet. You can learn to do it well. Whatever it is. And it is going to depend on what class we're talking about. Also, get involved, at least a little, in something. You'll feel more at home here. So, be in a study group. Join a department club. They always need officers. Get involved. join a student organization, whatever. Just don't be a hermit. But also remember, you cannot major in extracurricular activities and fun. There is no major in fun. Check the catalog. You can't find the catalog, it's on a previous slide. There is no fun major. You can have fun, but your major is what you're majoring in, and that is where you've got to get your grades. So, welcome to the MLL department, and I look forward to seeing you in person soon.